Hello, Genius Circle community. I'm Dr. Bren, and today we're diving into something that could revolutionize how you show up in relationships, community, and life itself. Have you ever noticed how some conversations feel draining while others energize you? How some relationships keep you small while others help you grow? The difference often lies in which archetypal pattern is governing the interaction. Today, I'm sharing insights from Brazilian Jungian analyst Carlos Byington's groundbreaking work on 5 archetypal ways of relating. More importantly, I'll show you how to recognize when you're stuck in limiting patterns and how to evolve toward more fulfilling, creative connections. This isn't just theory, it's a practical roadmap for transforming how you engage with others and build authentic community. Where fates and leads, let's start with the insular archetype, what Byington calls the islands of two pattern. This is where many of us get stuck without realizing it. In the insular mode, you relate through intense, exclusive bonds. Think of that friend who disappears when they're in a relationship, or workplace dynamics where it's us versus them. The insular pattern creates closed circles, passionate and intimate, but ultimately limiting. Here's what insular relating looks like. You see others as either all good or all bad. Relationships are intense but exclusive. You struggle with boundaries between your inner circle and the outside world. Conflict feels catastrophic because the other person suddenly becomes the enemy. While insular connections can feel deeply satisfying, think of new love or close family bonds. They can become prisons. You might find yourself dependent on others for emotional regulation, unable to handle disagreement without feeling rejected, missing out on diverse perspectives and growth opportunities, creating community divisions rather than building bridges. The insular pattern served us well as children, but in adult community it limits our potential for real growth and contribution. Many of us graduate from insular relating into what Byington calls the polar archetype. This feels like progress, and it is, but it comes with its own challenges. In polar mode, you can hold opposites in mind. You can see someone as both good and challenging, but the focus becomes about establishing hierarchy, being right, and maintaining control. Polar relating manifests as debate culture, where someone must win rigid roles and expectations, focus on credentials, status, and being the expert, relationships based on exchange rather than genuine connection. Fear of vulnerability because it might mean losing power. In communities, the polar pattern creates those exhausting dynamics where every conversation becomes a competition. You know the feeling. Someone shares a struggle and immediately 3 people jump in to show they're more knowledgeable or have overcome bigger challenges. While polar relating brings valuable structure and the ability to think critically, it can turn community into a battlefield of egos rather than a space for mutual growth. The gift of polar consciousness is discernment, the ability to set boundaries, think rationally, and maintain standards. But its shadow is the endless need to be superior, which fragments community rather than building it. Here's where transformation begins. The alterity archetype represents a fundamental shift, the ability to relate to others as equals while maintaining your own unique perspective. In alterity mode, you listen to understand rather than to respond. See conflict as information, not threat. Appreciate others' perspectives without losing your own. Create win-win solutions naturally. Feel energized by diversity rather than threatened by it. Imagine being in a genius circle discussion where someone shares an idea that contradicts your expertise. In insular mode, you might feel personally attacked. In polar mode, you'd need to prove them wrong. In alterity mode, you'd think, that's fascinating. What am I missing? How might their perspective expand my understanding? Alterity is the archetype of genuine democracy, creativity, and love. When a community operates from alterity, conflicts become generative rather than destructive. Everyone's unique gifts are recognized and utilized. Innovation emerges from the collision of different perspectives. People feel both challenged and supported to grow. Moving into alterity requires what Byington calls dialectical thinking, the ability to hold your truth and another's truth simultaneously until a new, more complete understanding emerges. This is the foundation of all great collaboration and innovation. Beyond alterity lie two more archetypal levels that represent the highest forms of human relating. The central archetype is about connecting with your authentic self, that core part of you that remains steady regardless of external circumstances. When you relate from your center, you're not reactive or defensive. You can hold space for others' growth. You make decisions from wisdom rather than fear. You become a stabilizing presence in community. The totality archetype brings a transpersonal perspective. You begin to see yourself, others, and your community as part of something larger. This isn't spiritual bypassing. It's the natural result of having done the work through the other archetypal levels. Here's the key insight. You don't abandon the earlier archetypes. You integrate them. You still need insular bonding for intimate connections, polar discernment for healthy boundaries, alterity dialogue for creative collaboration, central grounding for authentic presence, totality vision for larger purpose. A person operating from all 5 archetypal levels can form deep bonds without becoming exclusive, set boundaries without becoming rigid, engage differences without losing themselves, stay centered during conflict, hold the community's larger purpose. So how do you apply this in the genius circle? Start by noticing your current patterns. When you're triggered in community, ask yourself, am I making this person all good or all bad? Insular, am I trying to win or be right? Polar, am I curious about their perspective? Alterity, am I responding from my center or my wounds? Central, can I see this conflict as part of our collective growth? Totality, this week try this simple practice. Notice your default relating pattern in one interaction each day. Pause before responding from that pattern. Ask, how can I respond from the next archetypal level? Practice engaging from that higher level, even if it feels uncomfortable, to help our entire community evolve toward alterity and beyond. Share perspectives without needing others to agree. Ask genuine questions when you disagree. Celebrate others' successes without comparison. See conflict as creative tension, not personal attack. Remember, we're all here to grow together. The journey from insular to integrated relating is the path of genuine leadership and community building. As you evolve through these archetypal levels, you don't just transform your own relationships, you become a catalyst for others' growth. Remember, every interaction is an opportunity to practice a higher level of relating. Every conflict is a chance to build rather than break. Every difference is a doorway to greater understanding. Imagine a community where everyone operates from alterity and beyond, where differences fuel innovation, conflicts generate wisdom, and every member feels both challenged and supported to become their highest self. That's not just a dream. That's the community we're building together, one conscious interaction at a time. Your homework: choose one relationship where you typically relate from insular or polar patterns. This week, Practice bringing alterity to that relationship. Notice what shifts. Thank you for being part of this conscious community. Until next time, keep evolving, keep connecting, and keep growing together.